Hi, welcome back to OD YouTube channel. Today we are here for number 6 of 6th December 2024 for the Diamine Inkvent Calendar, and let's see which ink we have on inside door number 6, and it seems to be like another burgundy ink, although sometimes the label is not a perfect show of the ink that is inside, and this one is called Cranberry. I have always some focusing problems because it's trying to focus the background, which has lots of focusing spots, and it is a standard ink, so there will be no shimmer or anything. Be there because I'll be right back with the rest of the review. So let's see how Cranberry looks like on paper. So let's see how this Cranberry ink will behave. It is a standard one, so let's see what you can get out of it. So let's take about 3 drops of it, put this in the water. So I have some glasses with water there, just to put the pipettes there, and then also to clean the blade immediately after I do this. And so this is a very nice, I would say, very nice berry-like color. I think it's very beautiful, but it may be a little bit on the colder side of pink for my liking, kind of a fuchsia. That's how we say that in Portuguese. I know you say fuchsia or something like that, which it doesn't make much sense to my mind, but this is kind of the fuchsia color. And again, I can see some how we call it, some spreading, some sorry, I forget the word, but there some bleeding through the fibers of the paper, which is not that common on the Rhodia paper. And you can see, wow, this is too much almost, but that's it. Different inks behave differently. So this will be all covered in the following tests. I will choose pens to ink this ink, and I will be back real soon. So here it is, now completely ready. So this ink, this standard ink, the Cranberry, looks like this. So I would say this is kind of a very dark pink. I would not call it burgundy. It's not purple. It's like a very dark magenta, I would say. And it has some sheen. You can see some kind of greenish gold sheen. No shimmer. There are some particles here, but I think particles may be anywhere, but it's not especially an ink with particles. And this is it. It looks nice, but it's really an ink that's very hard to describe. I would also say that it's quite an opaque ink. Of course, you can still see the grid lines of the paper, but it covers it quite a lot for an ink that's not black. So this is interesting. Let's see how it compares with some other inks. So what do we have here? I have here several inks for you to take a look. So from my ink collection, I have here the Montegrappa Fuchsia, and you can see it's not the same kind of color. I have the Pilot Hiroshizuku Yamabudo, also not the same kind of color. This one came by accident, this swatch, sorry. Let's put it away. The Pelikan Edelstein Star Ruby, which was the special Edelstein ink for last year or the year before, I don't not remember exactly. It's not, it is similar in a way because it also has some kind of greenish gold sheen, but this color is much, it is brighter and lighter. And we have the Kaweco Ruby Red. Kaweco Ruby Red doesn't have the sheen, but it is very similar to that one. So I would say it is the most similar of the inks of my, let's call it, general collection. And then I brought here also the inks from previous Diamine Inkvent calendars. From 2019 we have the Candy Cane, which is lighter. We have the Noel, which is darker. We have the Poinsettia, which is very similar to Kaweco Ruby Red, very similar to that one, but lighter. We have the Raspberry Rose, this one that I was quite interested because it could be similar, but this color is brighter and this one is dustier. Let me put this one because the other one is clearly different. This is more similar. I would say that in paper they will look quite the same. And I have here the Inkvent Calendar 2021, the Party Time, which is also a pink ink, but lighter and also with lots of shimmer. And also the, let's put it away, the All the Best, which is an ink that is very similar, but this one has lots of, it has some sheen and lots of shimmer. So I would say that this ink, the new ink Cranberry, is somewhere between the 2021 Day 8 Raspberry Rose and the 2021 25 ink All the Best. So that I would say it is in between, but this All the Best has lots of shimmer. So this is what we have, and so it's a color that don't really have any perfect match to it, and that's kind of nice because it is different and it's nice to have different inks in the collection. Now let's take a look at the chromatography that I made. We have an ink that, for what we can see here, the line is almost invisible there, and then the ink all went away and it is mostly there. So I would say it is not, it doesn't completely disappear with water, but it's not water resistant because it is not where it was before and it went all the way with the water. So it's not a water resistant ink, although it may stain the places where it was, because you can see it leaves some residue, not residue, but some traces of it behind. Let's put this away, and now let's go for the writing samples. And the writing sample is here, or are here. We have several as usual. We will start with the moleskin paper. You can see this paper is not white paper as always, and ink. Sorry, before this, I was forgetting. I need to show you the pens that I chose. You already saw there, probably, but the pens that I chose were these. This one is a pen that I really like. I chose two black pens, interestingly. This one is the Pilot Bamboo, which is an interesting pen that I bought many years ago. I like the shape. It has a very nice shape. It has a very interesting design. It's not a pilot pen at all in the way we are used to look at it. It tries to mimic the shape of a bamboo that was cut, and it has this part which is kind of the knots of the bamboo. It's a very interesting pen. Even the shape of the clip, I would say this kind of a very Japanese-like pen, although it was designed by a French designer. It has a very nice section, but has a very kind of big step up here from the section to the barrel. It is a cartridge converter pen. It has inside the Con 70. I don't have much ink inside, and it has a gold nib, rhodium plated gold nib, and it is a number 10 nib, so it's not the biggest one, and it has an interesting feature, which it is a fine nib, and it is interesting because the outside of the nib, instead of being two colored, this one is frosted, so it's not kind of two colored but with two different finishes on the same nib. So this is the Pilot Bamboo with a fine nib, and also the Lamy Dialogue 3. This pen is owned by Appelboom, and this is a completely different pen, because it is a cartridge converter pen, but it is a capless pen, or a retractable fountain pen, which we can screw, we can turn it, and we have the nib out. You can see there is a little door there to keep the nib sealed, and here it comes. It has the same nib shape as Lamy Safari, for example, but this one is a gold nib. Can you see it? This is a gold medium nib, and I thought it has a very nice matte finish. I thought it would be interesting because we'll have a medium nib that is on the broad side, and we have a fine nib that is on the finer side, so it is contrasting enough. So now that I showed you the pens, let's go for the writing samples. And here we have several, the three papers and then the Rhodia that I'll show you in the end. So I have in the Moleskine, this ink behaves quite well. I thought there would be some feathering through the lines of the paper. I don't see it that much. So the ink is very plain in the way it behaves. If I look at it, it looks like any other, I would say, when looking at the writing sample, it looks like any other burgundy color. We saw there on the swatch, it's not really a regular burgundy because it's more on the pink side, but you don't really see that. I think in the writing sample it's not that unique. It doesn't feather through, it doesn't bleed through that much, which is kind of interesting on Moleskine paper. On Oxford paper, you can see the F line is finer because this paper is less absorbent, and the ink looks a little lighter also, but that's kind of normal with this paper. The ink behaves very well, no sheen, no bleed through, except some places where I held the pen a little bit more, you can see two little spots. Of course, when compared with Moleskine, it's nothing at all, but even this Moleskine is very, very little. On the copy paper, Navigator 80 grams per square meter copy paper, we have a behavior that is more similar as usual as the Moleskine, with the Moleskine behavior, but we can see that the lines here on the broad nib that puts more ink on the paper, the lines are not as crisp, because I think it feathers a little bit through the, I wouldn't say feathers, it goes more into the fibers of the paper, but it doesn't really feather that much, but you can see it goes inside the paper, and this is a proof it really goes into the paper because you have lots of bleed, and that's it. So it's an interesting pen, an interesting ink, sorry, but I think this is one of those inks that is more interesting looking at very wide, playful swatches and those kind of stuff, maybe some arty stuff, more than on the regular writing with a regular pen. Maybe if you are using a flex pen and you have lots of line variation within the same line, maybe there you will find some more interesting features about this ink. And now let's see how it behaves on the Rhodia paper. We already saw here but now let's see here. So again, the ink here looks just like a regular burgundy color. I wrote these with the Pilot Bamboo. It's quite again quite a burgundy look to it. I'm not sure how it will look on camera, but it's not really that pink. The only places where you can see how the ink looks, the other shades of the ink, is here. When I make these smears, you can see it's lighter, and also you can see the places where drops of water were dropped. It gets pinkish there. This is really pink, and this is more pink than the regular line. So it took around 20 to 25 seconds to dry, which is quite something with the Pilot, which has a fine nib. And here, that's kind of behavior we could predict. The line disappears completely with the water, but the water doesn't take away really all the pigment, not the pigment, all the dye. It's still there. I make these swatches, I let the water be there for a while, and then I have some tissue paper and I soak the water out, and so you can see that there was a stain, this part that didn't go all the way up. That's the equivalent of that. So this is an interesting ink, but I would say for regular and especially fine or handwriting with a fine nib, it will look like any other burgundy color. So it's not that special in that way. So let's just call here the fox. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And with the Lamy dialogue 3, we have a thicker line. It's not that comfortable, this pen. We have a skip there, but this pen dries a little bit more. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And so this is it. This was the review of the ink for the 6th of December, the Cranberry ink. I have to thank you for watching. Thank you all for being here for another review, and also I want to thank Appelboom for kindly sending me this ink calendar for review, and that's why I'm opening it a door each day. So thank you so much for this. Thank you so much to all of you for being there and on that side, and we'll meet again tomorrow, hopefully. So bye.